gotta talk about some of those cards that stole the spotlight from this weekend's YCS. Now make sure you guys smash the link crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. DD Crow, oh my gosh. I was very pleasantly surprised to see DD Crow coming back in to even remotely a spotlight out here, because Crow has been power crept out of oblivion out here. Nobody has really looked at Crow since the Bestials running around, and Shu Ping did something kind of crazy actually. He showed the world that, hey, maybe you guys want to consider this card as an option, because you can bump Mitsurugi cards out of your opponent's graveyard into the banish pile, and there goes their recurability, one of the things that tends to make the deck a little bit stronger than normal. Because, you know, Mitsurugi loves pulling their resources back out of the graveyard. Also, you know, if one of these ritual monsters is going to make an attempt to try to come back, well, DD Crow is going to meet it with some opposition, and it's going to provide you with an answer to having to deal with those recurable assets as well. Yeah, actually, Crow might be one of the best options that we can have against the Rizal Mitsurugi, or just Mitsurugi in general out here, because you put this pressure on your opponent, and they have to try to find a way to deal with this. That's interesting, actually. I'm not saying that like DD Crow is going to take over the spotlight out here, but I mean, it was definitely there, and it definitely made a good showing for the player base. So, good job, DD Crow. I'm glad to see that our old friend is back. You know, when a format tilts in the way that this one has, and you've got something like Crow having to be called up on the phone to come handle the problems of this format, I find that to be absolutely hilarious. All right, now, what about dear old Evil Swarm Nightmare out here? You've probably seen a couple lists running around playing Nightmare, but Nightmare is a kind of a unique little setup monster, because it's 2 level 4 dark monsters to make it. Now, when your opponent special summons a monsters, except during damage step, we can detach a material from this card to change that special summon monster to face down defense position. Now, keep in mind that this doesn't negate effects. This doesn't negate the summon. It just simply goes, hey, you summon a monster, we're going to book a moon it. Now, you can't use this against Lynx. Absolutely terrible scenario. You're going to get absolutely 0 value off of this against Malice. Don't even think about it, alright? Unless you're trying to use this against one of the trap extenders from the deck, that would be at the place that I feel like you would even remotely get a place to try to choke out your opponent. Would be one of the Malice trap cards attempting to special summon from the deck. Then you would have to use this as an interruption to book a moon your opponent at that stage. At that point, okay, then I can get behind that. That would have to be really the big choke point out here. But to be honest with you, I think the Evil Swarm Nightmare is good in certain matchups for where you're going to get a maximization of value for it. It's just, I don't know. Considering the fact that there just feels like, well, there isn't better rank 4s anymore, the fact that you've got to put the Nightmare on the field to deal with certain problems is a little bit outlandish, but that's just the world that we live in right now, everybody. Nightmare provides you with a very strong backing for these particular boards, and I think you're going to have to see what you can do with that, because it is honestly an option. So, who knows? I meet you. So this was something that I've been seeing pop up across the board in a crap ton of side decks. Alright, they're not even choosing to play this in the main. So it's reveal a Cyberse monster with 2300 attack in your hand or extra deck. And then you get to add an Adding-Mister monster with the same attribute from your deck to your hand. Oh. Okay. During the end phase of the turn, take 2300 damage if you do not special summon the revealed monster, or a monster with the same name after you resolved this effect. Now, you cannot activate monster effects for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, except for Cyberse monsters. So, you basically get the ability to reveal a Cyberse monster with 2300 attack from the extra deck. Okay, so we have the Ally Code Talker, which goes and gets us into a dark monster. Oh, a Dark Cybers monster. I wonder who of the armament of the very, very disgusting power cards could we be searching with I Meet You out here. I'm going to give you a hint. You got a crap ton of them in Malice that are going to just be raring to go out here off of this card. I think that this is probably going to be one of those cards that a lot of people are going to be like, huh, I forgot about I Meet You. That is a really cool searcher that you're going to be able to access and do things. That's why they're choosing to play this in the side deck out here of a lot of these particular decks, because depending on what you play against, if your opponent plays a giga crap ton of hand traps, you don't really want to reveal the Malice monster or the Code Talker monster at the very beginning stages, because you don't want to, give your opponent the knowledge you're playing Malice, because they're going to totally change the way they're playing. That's why, like, something like this in games 2 and 3 can make all that big of a difference out here as you're kind of structuring the hand and trying to play the best, possible build that you can. Harpy's Featherstorm. Holy crap, it's back. What was it? All last format, in the back of everybody's minds, we always had the thought of Harpy's Featherstorm in all of the Rizal decks. It was a cute little interaction that came up every once in a while, but it was never really consistent, because it was like, oh, hey, you kind of have to play some bad cards to facilitate this combo. You have to also see the thrust to roll on into it. But typically, if you could see it, it got you some pretty disgusting advantage. Honestly, turn skips are no joke in the modern era times out here. If your opponent simply cannot play the game, everybody, you're just winning. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it out here. It's that level of domination that really is kind of unfair, actually, to be thinking about out here. So I like Featherstorm as a side deck card. It really can just cheese a lot of games for you. And I think people kind of underestimate certain cards you can just slam on the table and just simply win the game by playing it. And it's also, in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I know Floodgates they're disappointing to see interact, because it's like, they forgot one, how dare you play this? And yeah, I get it. Shame on us for exploring different options out here, sure. But I don't know, man. I think when you see blowout cards like this actually show up, and the timing and conditions are meant for them, it feels quite interesting to me. It always just kind of leads to these scenarios that just make you kind of appreciate the game and what you're able to do, And maybe that's disappointing to some people, but I really just appreciate the fact that we have these different ideas and things that we're able to do. And then Code Igniter was brought up. Now, this one was a little bit of an interesting choice. So Code Igniter is 2 level 4 monsters. On Exceed Summon, we can add a Cyberse Ritual monster from your deck to your hand. But we can detach a material from this card to ritual summon a ritual monster from your hand by attributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level. Now, if this is sent to the graveyard as link material, we can add an eye trap card from your deck to your hand. Now, I think somebody was probably trying to use this to summon out Mitsurugi cards, which I don't know the interaction on that, if that's actually viable. I did see another interaction with this card show up over the weekend, though, in a Pure Ignister deck. And I was flabbergasted to actually see Pure Ignister being a viable deck out here, which was hilarious to see. I loved every second of getting the chance to see that interaction come up, and it was really beautiful. I don't know, man. Pure Ignister is something really cool, but to see that Code Igniter is trying to come up in some other ideas and try to steal the spotlight, we're trying to get a little bit creative out here in the ideas that I see people are tossing around, but we explore creativity because it definitely leads to some cool things, that's for sure. So, what do you guys think about everything? Please comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. There's a lot of cool spotlights out of this weekend, and I love to see. You guys have a good rest of your day, all right? Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.